may only be 11. She's not 11, she's 20. But she already has clocked up numerous brilliant screen credits, notably as Frankie in Skins and playing Lyra in The Golden Compass. The end of this month will mark her stage debut as she plays Thomasina Coverley in a revival of Tom Stoppard's Arcadia. She is, of course, Dakota Blue Richards. She joins me now. Number one, let's just make this clear. You've got the best name in the world. Are you aware of that? Do you just sometimes wander around going, yes, I do have the best name in the world?
It's funny, everybody tells me that, but I hated it as a child growing up.
Did you?
Yeah, because nobody could remember it, nobody could spell it, and it drove me insane because you could never shorten it, so everybody at school had nicknames and I didn't.
But now, as a grown-up, you can go, that's a cool name. You're a clever mum.
It's
I've
great
read
for
everything
work.
about it. You were born in Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, and she wanted to name you after both a place and a colour.
Yeah, that's
She
about
went
as
for both.
interesting as the story gets.
Well, that's more interesting than any of our naming stories. Tell me, did you immediately think, yes, this is a good idea, I'd like to go on stage? Was this something that you had always wanted to do?
I've been in for a few stage things before, and it's always been a bit of a weird one because I really believe that it's a very different skill to screen acting, and it definitely is something that one has to learn.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to learn without doing it. And so I always felt that I was sort of on the back foot when going into those auditions because I was quite often the only person there that didn't have any experience.
Yes.
And I knew that that was always a thing that sort of put people off me. And so it's really nice that Blanche has taken a chance on me, I guess. And I'm really hoping that I can pull it off.
Of course you can. I can already tell you're going to be amazing. Is it slightly terrifying? Isn't there a part of you, because absolutely they're two different skills, and when you're filming, you can have a bad take. You don't want to have a bad take, but you can, and everyone gets it, and they go, all right, let's do it again. Whereas on stage, there is no second take.
I know. And it's a very scary thought. But I also think stage audiences are much more forgiving, I would hope, because they're in the moment with you. It's like you go on a journey together and you see the whole story from start to finish. And so I'm hoping that if little things go wrong, it won't be massively noticeable. It's very different as a viewer to watch a play than it is to watch a movie where somebody's face is, you know, the size of a bus right in front of you and you can see every tiny detail. So I'm hoping people will be quite forgiving. But also we've had a really intensive and wonderful rehearsal experience, which is not something that you get on films. And so we have a lot longer to make sure that we're going to get it right.
Of course, and you will get it right. People love the rehearsal. I mean, very accomplished, extraordinary stage actors that have been in here say that's the most fun. They love it when the audience come in, but that's when you really get to fly free, if you like, and dissect characters. And are you finding it like that?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think it's a real shame that you don't get that sort of process very often on films because normally you get sort of a read-through on films and then maybe one day to talk about certain bits of your character, but by that point you haven't even had a chance to process really what they're about. And I'm somebody who really likes to dedicate myself to my character and I want to find things that are interesting and different about them. And so often there's just not the opportunity for that. And so this has been so rewarding already, just to look at the script and pick it apart, and it's such a clever script, so there's a lot to delve into, and I think we're very lucky to have such a wonderful director. Blanche is incredibly insightful in a way that I'm not, so it's great to have her to pick bits out and to show us where we're missing things and to play around and also to explain all the maths and the science.
She sounds
So
amazing. Because also some directors can be a bit shouty in a good way, but other directors let you go, oh, can I just give her a slightly different walk, or can I do whatever it is, and they allow you to say absolutely anything, and then they sort of go with you. I am, of course, talking to Dakota Blue Richards, who is off on tour in a revival of Tom Stoppard's Arcadia, which I'm sure I've seen. But remind us of the play and of the part you're playing.
Well, Arcadia is, I think the best way to describe it is an intellectual comedy. It's very, very funny. It's set across two time periods. One is in the early 1800s and the other is in the 90s, which was the present day when it was written. Yeah. And the people in the Regency period are very much looking forward to the future and making all these big leaps and discoveries, and it's really a time when things are moving on and changing. And the 90s is about a group of people who are all looking back. So there's this lovely sort of introspective feel to the whole play where all our storylines are very, very linked.
Yeah.
And you find out so much about the 1800s part of the play from the 90s. And it's just so clever. There's so much in it that makes you think and makes you question the world, and I've learnt so much from working on it.
Tell me about your part. What's she like?
Thomasina is essentially a genius. She's having lessons during the course of the show with her tutor, Septimus Hodge, who really challenges her, and they have a wonderful relationship. They're very, very playful with each other, and you can tell that intellectually they're exactly on
Matched,
the same level.
Yeah.
And she is essentially discovering things that weren't around at that time, and she sees into the future, they say in the play, almost like a picture. She doesn't really have the maths or the science to back up her discoveries, but she can see where the world is going, and she explains it in these wonderfully childish ways, because ultimately she's also very naive.
Yeah.
So she talks about chaos theory and thermodynamics in relation to rice pudding.
Yes.
So it's lovely. She's a really wonderful character to play and incredibly challenging.
Yeah, hard.
Very surprising always as well in what she comes out with.
How do you feel about you're going to Brighton, Bath, Oxford, Birmingham? I mean, you're going all over the place. Do you think, oh, fantastic, I'm going to bring my lucky rucksack and I can't wait to discover these places? Or do you think this is genuinely horrifying?
A little bit of both, I think. It's great that we get to play to so many different people.
Yeah.
I think especially with a play like Arcadia, which is, because it's so intellectual,
Yeah.
I think it sometimes feels not very inclusive.
Yeah.
And so what's really nice about putting it on tour is that we're bringing it to people who might otherwise never have seen the show. And it's exciting as an actor to have a new space. I mean, we're doing 83 shows. And if we were doing them all in one place, I can imagine it would start to feel slightly stale.
Yeah.
But having a new space and a new audience, it's going to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
So-
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
All of that, you just will suddenly go, oh, this is my dressing room for a bit. Fine.
exactly.
When you go to each place, are you there for like a week?
Yes, yeah, a week.
I love it. You're like the Rolling Stones. Have the most amazing time and good luck with it. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.